What's going on, guys? Sly here, and welcome back to another Sly Nation latest news video. So with E3 in the rearview mirror, there hasn't been a ton of news to surface as of here recently, but a few interviews have been held back since being recorded at E3 so they could sprinkle some stuff, here and there to keep people's thirst for some Destiny news. So I've read a ton of articles and listened to a few interviews and gathered up everything else that wasn't listed in my first two recent news videos, which by the way you can find at the end of this video or down in the description box below if you wish to check them out. But it's probably old news by now. So in any case, let's get started with the battle of consoles. As you probably have seen, the Xbox One X features some pretty beefy specs, and with that comes the opportunity for not only better graphics, including, details, textures, shadows, etc., but the chance for higher frame rates, which in my opinion is better than going to the 4K realm. However, even with more horsepower, Bungie is locking Destiny to 30 frames per second on all consoles across Xbox and PlayStation. That includes the Xbox One X and PS4 Pro. Mark Noseworthy recently sent out 4 tweets back-to-back that was aimed at alleviating some angered fans who thought it was done on purpose since they are under contract with Sony. According to Mark, Destiny 2 will run at 30 frames per second to quote-unquote ensure the best social action game across all consoles. Now to me, that says that they're trying to keep things fair. It could also be why the PC will be separate from console players as well. Higher frame rate and mouse aiming would make it a tough game to balance in PvP. While I can somewhat agree with that, at least, with keeping PC separate, I'm not sure about on Xbox. Once again, we're seeing a generation gap. Destiny was held back by the 360 and PS3 back when it first launched. Detail, world sizes, the amount of players, all of this had to be lessened in order to run smoothly on the older console generation. If you guys can recall, I did a video quite some time ago, like a long time ago, where we talked about Mars was originally supposed to be 4 times the size it is today. But due to last gen of the PS3 and 360, it had to be scrapped to make it run. Now it's not as serious here, but pretty much the same principle. We're limiting game experience right now so that old tech can keep up. Now I don't know if I plan on getting the X the day it comes out or not, but if they had superior frame rates, then that's what happens when you pay more, They deserve a better console if they're going to pay $500 for it. So to me, it's not that big of a deal. However, still no word on the 4K showing of Destiny 2 on the Xbox X and how it will compare to the PS4 Pro. But as you can see here, they are focused on launch platforms first, and we'll talk about the Xbox One X at a later date. Alright, so while we're still on Xbox and PlayStation, we've already seen the latest rounds of PlayStation exclusives to hit Destiny 2. Xbox and PC will be out of at least 3 sets of armor, more than likely a few quests as well, but that remains to be determined. Then we also have a strike, an exotic sniper rifle, the Borealis, a PvP map, and an exclusive ship. If you're a PC player, guys, get used to this kind of stuff because it will keep happening, and there isn't an exact date on when we will get these items on Xbox and PC, but it has been said that we will get them sometime in late 2018. The good news is that we are at least getting them. There are still untold amounts of weapons, armor, and quests that the Xbox still has yet to see, even after a full year has gone by, so let's not hold our breath, guys. Alright, next up, let's talk about some of that PvP awesomeness. So everyone was stoked when Bungie finally unveiled private matches this year. However, Destiny 2 will not launch with private matches available. Now they're hinting at something coming along a little bit later, but they haven't confirmed that it's coming back at all. Also, ranked PvP was a rumor circulating around, and while it also will not be available at launch, Bungie is working on something like a ranking system in the near future. It should be ready to go within 2018, so I'm assuming that means the first expansion will see some private matches and some sort of ranking system incorporated. However, that is still speculation at this time, but it is indeed coming at some point. So our next topic, the long-awaited matchmaking for raids, guided games as it's called. Bungie has been, pretty careful not to associate matchmaking with guided games, and now it's clear why. The whole point of guided games is to encourage fellow Guardians to team up on their own after being introduced with guided games. Well, why team up if they have guided games? Turns out you can only use guided games for non-heroic or normal activities only. So unless there's some kind of special circumstance, guided games will not work for nightfalls or hard mode raids. This leaves guided games to be used in only one activity, normal mode raid. Now, you already have matchmaking for heroic strikes and PvP, and since you cannot use it for a nightfall, that only leaves normal mode raid as a remaining activity. Also, Destiny 2 is a brand new game. There will only be one raid available to play, and more than likely, it will not be available at launch. They usually make us wait a few weeks after launch date. However, there's a plus side to this as well. Normal mode usually launches first, and then a few weeks, perhaps a month later, heroic mode debuts. So this means that guided games will be completely relevant for the most crucial time of the raid, when normal mode is the only option. This gives you plenty of time to use it and match up with clans who are looking for more members, and it'll be just in time for hard mode. Even if you're not a hard mode raider, there will always be clans looking for people to play with on normal mode. There are players all over LFG right now looking to do normal runs. So while it will not be the most used thing in Destiny 2, it will be extremely helpful for the first few months. Alright, and finally guys, Luke Smith recently let some information fly on an interview with Kotaku. Turns out each week there will be a destination within Destiny 2 that will be featured for an entire week. This featured location will be called a Flashpoint. If you remember back to the Destiny 2 reveal in May, they talked about treasure maps being available. Well, treasure maps become available during these Flashpoint activities, and with it, unique instances take place as well. Large monsters and bosses, activities, and of course, lots of loot. Flashpoint will hand out Nightfall-like rewards, and according to Luke Smith, they will be the key to progressing once you hit the endgame. You know guys, I have always been hoping for a more developed open world. Lost Sectors made me drool at the reveal, and when you add in treasure maps to these Flashpoint activities, this is exactly what I was hoping Destiny 2 would incorporate in their second iteration. More stuff to do than just, waiting for public events. So personally, I cannot wait to see what this all adds up to when we get our hands on it. Alright guys, and finally, our last little tidbit of news has to do with the raid. Now, I'm still on the fence about this, but apparently they are taking away the no revive penalty in hard mode raids, and from the way I read it, even the small 25-second delay in normal mode. Instead, they're going to issue some kind of death penalty to hard mode. Now, they haven't confirmed or even hinted as to what this penalty might be, but Luke Smith talked about how unfun it is to watch your teammates carry on, trying to finish the boss without you when you're dead. Now, I have a feeling this new death penalty, or removal of, is all tied to guided games, as well as this whole new mantra of Destiny for everybody kind of ideal. They keep trying to open up activities for as many people as possible, but dumbing them down, in my opinion, really isn't the answer. These activities are popular because they are hard, and all the more rewarding when you finally beat it. Now, this new ideology is apparent in their hopes for exotics as well. They're making exotics less rare also, but that removes what makes them special to begin with, their rarity. Now, I'm all for change here, guys, but making their harder endgame content not hard isn't the answer. The feeling of permadeath is always in the back of your mind while you're raiding in hard mode, and that makes you play better, if nothing else, more cautiously. If you can never die, then what's the rush or the worry? You're going to beat the boss eventually because you'll always be at full strength. Now we'll have to wait and see what this death penalty really is or how they plan to add it while gaining revives. But in any case, ladies and gents, that is about it. Now hopefully next week, the weekly update will shine a little more light on when we can expect Bungie to fire up their Twitch stream so we can check out some new armor and weapons. And of course, if anything happens before then, you can find it all here on my channel as well as on Twitter or Facebook. Sly Nation, Sly Nation Gaming, it's the best place to stay up to date on everything Destiny, as well as any new news about the upcoming game Anthem as well. Take care, guys. Keep those eyes peeled for more videos coming out of Sly Nation here very soon. But until then, this is your boy Sly, and I'll catch you all next time.